Hey everyone, this is Tell the Truth Sports Radio, and I'm your host, Ron Fitch, and I'm going to tell you the truth about the NFL and Draymond Green and all that good stuff. All right, the Cowboys versus the Bills. The Cowboys are a better team than the Bills. Prescott's playing at a high level. They're humming, and they're in such a good rhythm. Defensively, they're sound and they're explosive. Uh, they make plays. They turn you over, and they're playing good. The Bills are playing good and desperate. I like that they're playing hard and they're playing desperate and they're starting to come together each week. Uh, Miller is getting better, and defensively, they're starting to get their like Vaughn Miller is starting to get going and get the pressures, um, and do what they have to do. I do love Rousseau and those dudes they're playing at a high level. Um, and then Espana has he's the leader in sacks. I mean, dude has oh he has six he has seven sacks. Oh, Oliver, I'm sorry, Ed Oliver is just balling out. So you got the front balling well, and Ed Oliver's got 6.5 sacks. And Micah Hyde, hopefully he's healthy. And then the back end is pretty solid. But man, listen, they're going to have to play the game of their life to win this game. This is how this game's going to go. Because if you look at Dallas and the Niners are playing at high levels over everybody else in the NFL. But unfortunately, they're going to have to see each other probably, unless one gets knocked off. I don't know. I don't think it doesn't look like that's going to happen. But Prescott is 107 QBR, 28 touchdowns, six interceptions. The interceptions are low because he got them down. He's playing and what they're doing, McCarthy, when he took over the offensive coordinator job, he committed to the run. Even if they're not getting anything out of the run, they're not bludgeoning you in the running game, but if they get 4 or 5, they're on schedule. So that allows Dak to go back and not worry about 3rd and 13. But if he does, he has the Ferguson and Lamb. And what's happening now, which makes them scary, is now Ferguson is taking over the second guy because Lamb is hard to deal with unless you're doubling him. All right, you go double Lamb. Now, Ferguson's getting man-for-man coverage. He's got safety, and he's eating that safety alive. Or he's eating the cornerback, or he's eating the linebacker. 3rd down, and the line is doing a terrific job protecting Dak. So Dak's going back to pass. He doesn't have to worry about getting pressured. And Ferguson's open, CeeDee Lamb's open, and even Cooks is open sometime. So you got options. Now, that's hard to deal with. And Pollard's run a little better in between the tackles. And he's committed to run. If it doesn't work, he's going to run. Because McCarthy's going to stay on schedule. Even when he had Rodgers, they ran the ball and they passed it. And it was a 60-40 kind of balance, 60 passes or 55, 45 pass run. He is not going to, unless you get a big lead on him, and it's hard to do that because Dallas could get after you. And defensively, Gilmore has been just solid. They're throwing the ball they're throwing the ball at Bland. But Bland is killing you with the 6 pick sixes. So he has 5 interceptions. So he's giving you what you need. They're throwing at him because they don't want to go at Gilmore. What a great pickup. And they made the little pickups in the draft picks was really, they've done a lot. Since a couple years ago, they were the worst defensive team in the league. They drafted Parson and they added speed and they added the smart cornerback play, solid cornerback play. Safeties are great. They're just talent. They got a galaxy of stars all around. Now they don't have a second great. Cooks is good and solid. Don't have a second great receiver, but it doesn't matter because of how Ferguson is starting to develop. And that's the key. I mean, this guy has 5 touchdowns and he's averaging 11 yards a catch, 43 yards a game. He has 570 yards, 51 receptions. I mean, Lamb has 96 receptions for over 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns. Okay. CeeDee Lamb is a stud. He's one of the best receivers in the NFL. But it's Ferguson. But now the efficiency and the rhythm, Dallas is in this kind of zone where they're in a rhythm right now. They're in a zone. And the Niners are like that too. They're going to kill the Cardinals. They're going to go to the Cardinals and kill the Cardinals. So I don't have to preview that game. But the Cowboys are in a rhythm. But Buffalo, this is the key to this game. If Buffalo, because Dallas is better than Buffalo, if Buffalo could somehow get Dallas, or Dallas could make a mistake or two, get Dallas to lower their standard and lower the game, and maybe you get a B- game from Dallas, Buffalo has to have an A+ game. I believe they will. I believe Buffalo's going to have it. They have to. Listen. I say, listen, fellas, Dallas is better than we are if I'm a Buffalo guy. But if we play to our maximum, we can beat them. And Josh Allen has been solid. I mean, the 14 interceptions ain't great, but 25-14, I like recently. He's been really good. But they are just like the Cowboys in the fact that Cook and Murray and Allen are bamming you up the middle, and they're home, so they play a lot better. It's going to, the elements, could that change? Could the cold elements kind of take away Dax? It slows Dallas down a little, and that's why I'm believing that. I just believe that Buffalo, they're going to get after Dak a little more than he's ever gotten after in the last couple of weeks. The Eagles got after him a little, but not a lot. I believe Buffalo, in their desperation, they're going to get after Dak, but you got to get him on the ground. It's hard to get him on the ground. He could break away. Once he breaks away, there's a broken play, and CeeDee Lamb is streaking down the field. You're in trouble. But I think Bland, who at times takes chances because he's a good guy at getting pick sixes, takes a couple chances and Diggs burns them. The key to this game is that the Bills do have the best secondary guy, because you always look for that number 2 guy. When you got the number 1 guy like a Hill and a Diggs and a Lamb, if you got a secondary guy, the second best guy, Gabe Davis is the best second best receiver in the league. He's the best number 2 guy in all of football, and he's a money guy. And I believe he's going to make enough plays where the Bills survive and they get Dallas' B game. If Dallas is coming with the A game, forget every single thing I just said, because the Cowboys, I don't care if it's in Buffalo or Canada or Russia or anywhere. But I believe if Dallas is going to lose another game, it's this one. And I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills because I like the Buffalo Bills over every wild card team. And if the Jets upset the Dolphins, which is possible, and the Bills win, the Bills could look at the division now. And that's big. But I like I like the Bills. This is a risk. This is a risky call. Like me picking the Niners over the Cardinals, that's not risky. Anybody, I could get my niece Kyla, and she loves her Cowboys, and she could go on. I could put her on my show, and she could pick the 49ers to beat Arizona without even looking. But this is when you do a show, sometimes you want to take risks to see how it works out. This is a huge risk, me picking Buffalo, because I respect how great Dallas is playing right now, man. And it's a rhythm they're in. And Buffalo's got to alter this rhythm. They'll alter this rhythm. You can't have Dak just going down the field. Boom, 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 boom. Run, pass. CeeDee Lamb, Pollard, Dak running, Ferguson getting catches on third down, and then give the ball back to Buffalo. Buffalo, I love Josh Allen. They're explosive, but they can't get in no shootout with Dallas. They can get in a shootout with the certain teams, But this ain't one of those teams you want to get in any kind of shootout. You're going to have to hope you get a couple stops and hope Josh Allen is on his game, running and passing, and you run just enough and you make just enough third down plays, and you're in the kind of 24 to 30-ish kind of scoring range. Because if Dallas put up 40, you're not putting 40 up on Dallas. So I'm taking a risk, and I'm picking the Bills at home. Now, this is kind of the battle of backup segments as far as the AFC. Um, at home, I like Browning over Dobbs. Going to be a close game. Bengals win against the Vikings. I like Minshew over Trubisky. I like everyone over Trubisky. I don't even know if Trubisky can make Penn State. I don't even know if Trubisky can play for Rutgers. Uh, there's the worst quarterback in the NFL playing for Pittsburgh. I would play Mason Rudolph. I wouldn't be as stubborn as Tomlin is. I'd put Mason Rudolph in there, and you have a chance. You need a miracle to walk out of Indianapolis to win with a non-quarterback that they have. So you got to think the Colts should win. And I got the desperate Lion team after getting beat up to get by the Broncos at home. The Lions, good game. Russell Wilson's going to bring it. They're going to need Javonte Williams to run better and to run well to keep Goff and that offense off the field. I think the running game is going to be big. I think Montgomery's going to have a good game. And then that allows St. Brown and Jameson to eat. Now that includes now Goff is a great play action quarterback. Now I can go back there and do what he does. But the Broncos are going to make it a close game. But I like the Lions. I think the Bears could upset the Browns. Fields is playing really good, and the Browns are due for. I don't know if Flacco that's going to work again. Flacco was out of his mind against Jacksonville. I think the Bears could make it close, if not even beat them. You know what else? I think the Jets could beat the Dolphins. The Dolphins, I don't know how hurt Tyreek Hill is, who's the MVP of the NFL. You saw that when he was out last Monday. You saw what a mess they were. I didn't like how they lost to the Titans, 2-touchdown lead late at home. You can't hold them. I mean, they went down the field with ease. There's something missing, and they better get it quickly. I still think they're going to win the division. Now, this is if Zach Wilson could feed off the momentum he had last week and play well in Miami. If he goes back to Zach Wilson, they'll get crushed. But I got this funny feeling because of their defense, and maybe Hill is a little slower. That I get Sauce Gardner and those dudes could stay with them. They get after Tua a little bit. Miami looked a little vulnerable. I got this is my sneaky upset pick of the week. This is the Jets beating the Dolphins. In the AFC, nothing's going to be decided because the Colts have some tough games. The Colts should be in the driver's seat with a win Saturday, but they got to go to Atlanta. They got to play the Raiders. Raiders put up 42 points in the first half against the Chargers. They were up 42-0. And I believe it is 63. Let me see. To me, the way they're beating the Chargers is 63-21. They won. This is where, and O'Connell's a good quarterback, good young quarterback the Raiders have. It was 42-0 at the half. To me, the Chargers quit. And if I'm Coach Staley, I'm resigning tonight. I'm like, listen, they don't want to play for me no more, and I wish them well. Because with Belichick not coming back to the Patriots, this feels like a setup. This feels like Robert Kraft may have put in a call to the Chargers owner and say, listen, he's available. He's going to be gone. If you want him, you can have him. And Belichick, looking at that great roster that the Chargers have, could come in there and change everything. Chargers knowing that Belichick's probably coming, they just quit. So that's my conspiracy theory, because that's ridiculous. He should quit. Giving up 63 points to the Raiders, he should quit tonight. If I'm that poor lady, I was trying to get her on my show, the really excitable Charger fan. That she might go on a hide after this beatdown. But the Bills, if they were fortunate enough to pull off a huge upset, they'll be in it. Cincinnati will be in it because they got a great team other than their backup quarterback. And even if you lose and have 7 losses, you're still in it. Buffalo, Cincinnati, Denver, Houston, Indianapolis, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland. And maybe even the Raiders at 6-8 if they get a whole bunch of breaks. I don't think that's going to happen because I think Tennessee and the Jets are going to be 6-8. You got some shit other than the Bills. You got backup quarterbacks in Denver who's okay, but you got backup quarterbacks all across the board and an inexperienced quarterback in Houston, albeit a really good one. You got the three leaders in the wild card got backup quarterbacks. One really terrible backup, two backup quarterbacks and a non-NFL quarterback. So there's still hope. I mean, even if 6-8, you're in it mathematically, and still teams could just get beat this week, and all of a sudden, in a couple of weeks, you might see yourself a game out of the wild card. So, right from here on out, if you're an AFC team, this is playoff. Every game is a playoff, even for Miami, because you want to sow the division. Say, for instance, Buffalo is fortunate or lucky enough to beat the Cowboys, and you get beat. Now that race is tight, and you got to play Buffalo again. And Buffalo blew you out, so they got the tiebreaker. You don't want to have that fifth loss, and the Bills have the sixth loss. Now the Bills smell blood now. Now the Bills said, listen, forget the wild card. Let's keep winning. We might get the division. So I want to see, I believe the Jets, because of how they're playing, could upset Miami. And even if they don't, it'll be a very close game. The Chicago Bears and Jets, at the very least, I believe are going to make these games close, if not outright upset the Browns and the Dolphins. I don't get fully into the NBA until after the NFL playoffs, NCAA football tournament. Unless it's a big story, I'll dibble and dabble. But Draymond Green, you got to be kidding me, man. I've never seen a guy that wins like that with 4 championships as an integral part. Great. I can't say role player, game manager, because he's the hub a lot of times of their pass and cut offense. And he's brilliant at what he does, good on the ball when he's actually not acting like a buffoon and a thug. He's a nice post defender. He kind of controls all the action on defense. Super high IQ. There's no excuse for it, and he's unrepentant. And that's the key to always making idiotic mistakes, to never be repentant. I'm sorry. I'm a change up. Nah, I don't apologize. I'm defiant. And this defiance has all finally caught up to him. I mean, sorry, now he's suspended indefinitely, and the NBA is demanding that he gets help. Now, you either quit or you're going to have to go get some counseling. And you're going to have to not be defiant, because that counselor's going to ask you some tough questions now. Now you got to face some tough issues. As a guy, a lot of people don't like him. I understand. I like watching him when he is under control, when he's drop kicking, and he enhanced LeBron James's. This is Tell Truth Radio. He enhanced LeBron James' legacy by drop kicking and getting suspended when at 3-1, that Cavalier team was a dead man walking. And when he did that, it did allow the great players to be even great. LeBron had a great game, and Draymond was really playing well in that series. And their defensive center and their emotional leader was gone on his fault. And they were beaten. And they were beaten, and then you knew the momentum was gone, and Cleveland had it, and it finally, there was a light at the end of the tunnel. Once it got to 7, and Kyrie could taste it. Kyrie finished them off. LeBron played great defense, and the rest of the team, Tristan Thompson was unblockable. And then they were allowed to just take that series away from Golden State, which was all Draymond Green's fault for all the drop kicks and all the nonsensical plays during that time. And usually, if you look at the Atlanta Falcons, well, the 28-3 lead, they never recovered. The Seattle Seahawks are just rising from the ashes of that disastrous play at the end where they had the Patriots beat, and that helped the Patriots. That got Brady 2 more rings. The Patriots were going to be in. They were going to lose another Super Bowl without that nonsensical play call. But when you choke or do something horrible, do something stupid, and you cost your team, usually it takes years. When you're all the way there to the finals, it takes years to recover, if ever. And they were very fortunate that KD came. When KD came there, and Draymond knew it. Draymond was going to be the GOAT for the history of the NBA. He was that guy that took away that ruined the 73-game season. He was that GOAT. He was the guy that ruined their season. That narrative was squashed when he begged KD to come there. All right. And they end up winning 2 championships. And now you're not thinking about Draymond, and you are giving LeBron credit, but they wouldn't have going to win that game. You didn't know what was going to happen with the Cavaliers if they didn't win that. They might have broke up because Kyrie not too long after left. So that gave him his signature moments in Game 7 and 6. He played lights out because his finals numbers wasn't as good. But then when Draymond Green and LeBron kind of baited him, and then I did not like what LeBron did when he begged him to be suspended. That was just I didn't like that. But nevertheless, he came back and did what he had to do and won that championship. And Draymond that was buffoonish. That was the first taste of the real buffoonery. But then he gets into it with KD, and he says, "We won with you before you got." It was something really crass and unnecessary, and that's what got KD out of there. It's like, I gotta get out of here. It's just unnecessary. Now it looks like Jordan Poole incident. Jordan Poole, like he's an instigator. I don't want to say he was asking for it. He probably was, but you still don't hit him. He just socked him, just like he was in the streets, and that fractured the whole team. And he's so self-destructive. He's so good as far as a teammate, as far as the ability to play and be their emotional leader. And he's almost two-faced it. Because on one hand, you have this buffoonish, dirty, kind of dirtbaggish basketball player. On the other hand, you got this brilliant, high IQ dude that has helped. He has had a part in all 4 of those championships with a kind of, he's a unique role player. There's a lot of role players, but not as unique as Draymond, because he's an integral part, not just a role player. AC Green was a great role player, but Draymond is more than that. And now he's getting a little older and he's getting a little more dumber. And I can't believe a guy with a high IQ, I'm saying that with high IQ, like when they're playing and they're moving the ball and he's playing good team. I love watching this team. I like watching him, but I can't stomach. This is Tell the Truth Sports Radio. I got to tell the truth. I can't stomach the stupidness. And I could tell when he's veering off into idiot land. And I don't know, the Golden State, they didn't address it. Steph, he's got a call, but like, come on, man. You can't do this no more. Go get some help. If I'm Steph Curry, I love you. We've been in the wars together, won titles together, but you got to go get some. He needs some. He needs to receive the help. There's something going on in this guy. There's players that are just pure dirty players. And that's what their role is in the NBA. He's better than that. But he lowers his standards and he lowers his mentality just to do something extremely stupid like he did the other night.